welcome to the second episode of the Senderado series. If you're new to my channel, well, that actually makes two of us. Anyway, thanks for watching. As you can see here next to me, I got a bunch of little stuff here to put on the Senderado. So today, we're going to go through some of it. I got a shipment in from Kazuma USA, who manufactures the ATV, and we're going to see if I need to buy any of the larger things. You may have also noticed that the filming locations are changing between two different places, two different garages. That's because I moved. So I outgrew my old space and outgrew my old garage. In the last month, I have slowly been moving my projects over to this space, my new garage, which affords me a lot of extra room to do projects on the side while keeping my drift car and my 370 running. The 370 project, which I introduced in an episode a few days ago, go check that out if you want to see that. So now, all of my activities can happen at the same time, and I can make a lot bigger mess. Right, well, I'd say that's it. Let's get started. So like I said, whole bunch of little stuff. New rear brake master, well, not new, it's the old one from the ATV, I just refurbished it. But I did put a new reservoir on, I just kind of had this laying around. New rectifier, because we saw in the last episode that the one that came with the ATV failed. New coolant tank, we've got the headlights from the Power Wheels, which I am going to try and reuse. I have a fuel filter. The fan from the radiator works. We're going to try and reuse that. The rear brake caliper for the ATV, that I think works. We'll find out in a bit. This is a water pump from a Toyota Prius, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to use that in a later video. I've got some of the electrical bits, new spark plug wire, got a new CDI box for it, got these badass hella lights. So these are just some off-road lights for just an off-road truck. I scored them from Crash Test Dummy. He had them with one of the trucks that he bought. Didn't want them, so we're gonna put them on Senderado. And we've got the original fuel tank, which I'm going to have to use for now. I don't know what I'm going to do yet for a fuel tank. I have a strong feeling I'm going to have to get a fuel pump, pressure regulator, and put some type of metal tank near the back of the machine. We'll see what kind of space we have once it's all said and done, but my guess, this probably won't work. But I have it here. I put a new valve in it because the valve from the ATV was just a mess. And the new gas cap, of course. Then the exhaust pipe, which I've already cut because it was already damaged and bent pretty badly. I have no idea what happened here, but this looks horrendous. So I chopped off the muffler end because mufflers are silly. And here's the rest of the wire harness, which is a complete mess. And some new wiring bits, which we did talk about when I tested the rectifier. I'm going to build a complete wire harness for this machine. And probably the coolest thing are the new shocks. So these shocks are going to be what I will use for the swing arm. So I've actually got two of them. And I think each one of these is good for 330 pounds, so 660 pounds for the pair. And this is what's going to be hooked up to the swing arm. They're only 11 inches as opposed to the mono shock from the ATV, which is I think 19 inches. So this will be a big benefit here for space. So, all right, that's all the little stuff. Let's start cracking into it. First item is checking the fuel tank for leaks or damage, cleaning it thoroughly, and putting on the new shutoff valve. For this, a little bit of acetone works great. Next thing is going to be steering. I'm ditching the handlebars from the ATV for a more traditional go-kart steering wheel. But to do that, I need more angle on the steering shaft, and it needs to be shortened. So I took about 2.5 inches out of the length of the steering shaft. I then re-welded the foot plate back on. In order to get the steering shaft at the angle that I want, I used the universal joint from my 1/2-inch socket driver set. I have no clue if this universal joint will hold, but I welded both sides of the pin just to be safe. My guess is it'll probably shear off if I try to turn too hard or if I hit a rock. With the steering handled, I wanted to make a mounting bar for those hella lights from earlier. Ironically, for dramatic effect, I decided to weld in the dark. Finally, I decided to relocate the radiator to a lower position on the front area of the frame. This was done so that I could retain as much of the body from the power wheels as possible. I also have a plan for the coolant loop, which I'll show in a later episode. With the lights attached to the front bumper and the power wheels body on, this is what it looks like so far. So that's going to do it for this episode of the Senderado. Please tune in for the next episode, which should be happening sometime after the holidays. I'll be visiting with my family, so I won't be working on the project for a little while. I want to wish all of you a safe and happy holidays during these unfortunately crazy times. Please take care. Remember, LS swap the world. Always wear your flip-flops. I'll see you next time.